Welcome to the McLaren real estate team home, where the only thing hotter than the market this year is our oven. We're back and better with another amazing baking video. Super excited. We have some very special guest judges, so let's get in that kitchen and get baking. When it's cold outside and frosty, we have this beautiful amount of snow that just came down on us. What do I crave? Ooey, gooey, soft, sugary cinnamon buns. Oh, they're incredible. But it's Christmas, so I wanted to make sure to make it a little bit more Christmas themed. So today, we're going to be making gingerbread cinnamon buns. So there's gonna be a couple ingredients that are gonna be a little out of the ordinary from your regular cinnamon bun. So that's gonna be some ginger, nutmeg, and molasses. As well, we're making our cinnamon buns in a pie dish. So if you have a 9 or 10 inch pie dish, that's gonna be perfect. Okay, so to start, we're doing 2 3/4 cups of flour. All right, so then we're gonna do just a 1/4 cup of sugar. I am using a stand mixer, but you can certainly do this by hand, no problem. So we're just also gonna do 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So let's grab that. Once you've mixed your flour, sugar, and salt together, we're gonna move on to the milk and butter. What we're gonna do with these is combine them and then melt them. So I have 3/4 cup of milk in here, and to make it a little bit easier, I'm just gonna weigh how much butter I'm putting in. So it's 3 tablespoons or 43 grams. So what I'm gonna do with the butter is cut them into very small cubes, because we're gonna throw this in the microwave and do about 10 to 15 second bursts until the butter is melted. Having them in the small cubes makes this a lot easier and faster for the butter to melt, while also making sure the milk doesn't get too hot, because then it's gonna burn our yeast. So right now, I am just making sure I do not want my milk to go over 110 degrees, because it's gonna burn my yeast otherwise, and my butter is melted. So this is perfect. Let's go add the yeast. To our milk and butter, we're gonna add 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. We're gonna mix this all together until it has dissolved. So now that we have our flour, sugar, and salt, we're gonna add our butter, milk, and yeast, as well as the egg. Then we are gonna mix it until it turns into a soft dough. It doesn't even need to be fully, completely combined, because then we're gonna roll it out on a floured surface and we're gonna start kneading it. Okay, so that's done, and as you can see, it's just starting to form into a dough. That's perfect, it's all we need. We're gonna bring this over here, grab our flour, sprinkle some of that on there, and then dump out our dough. Okay, so we're gonna bring this together and knead it for about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick this in a grease bowl and set it aside for 10 minutes. What is fantastic about this recipe, it is a 1 rise recipe. So if you're worried about working with yeast and rising and this and that, it super simplifies it with just 1 rise. So we'll set this aside for about 10 minutes and we'll get started on our filling. So we're gonna make the filling, and for this filling, we are gonna do 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar. Then I am gonna do a tablespoon, yes, you heard me correctly, a whole tablespoon of cinnamon. I'm not uber exact, hey, if you like a little bit more cinnamon, or you like a little bit more brown sugar, totally up to you. These things you don't have to be super concerned about. So then we're gonna add some nutmeg and ginger. I'm only gonna do a teaspoon of ginger because it is obviously quite a strong flavor. And then just a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And these are so aromatic. They smell incredible. And again, will bring that beautiful Christmas flavor to these amazing cinnamon buns. And then we're just gonna mix this till it's really nice and tiny little crumbs, no big clumps of brown sugar. Okay, so our dough has just sat here for about 10 minutes. So now we're gonna roll it out to 16 by 14 inches. And I'm not gonna use a floured surface because it's gonna make it a little bit harder to roll it out since it is a very soft dough. It's gonna kind of spring back, so it's easier without flour to roll it out. So now that we have rolled out the dough, I am gonna cover it in some softened butter, and I don't do an exact measurement. It's whatever is kind of your preference, but if you're looking for ooey and gooey, make sure to do a good amount of butter. And never to skip the edges. That's why you get to certain parts of the cinnamon bun where it's dry or it has no filling on it. It's because you missed the butter on the edges. So make sure to really cover the whole entire thing with the butter and a nice layer. I have molasses here, and what I'm gonna do is mix this into the butter. So I'm gonna pour, talk about slow molasses. And basically what you wanna do is just kind of mix this in with your butter here. So we're just gonna swirl that in all with the butter. And this is what gives you that delicious, rich, and classic gingerbread flavor. Okay, so now that that's done, we're gonna sprinkle our cinnamon, sugar, ginger, nutmeg mix all over. And again, make sure to get really nice and up close to all the edges. So now we are just gonna roll this up. So starting from whichever edge, you just want to lightly push the dough up upon itself, and it's so easy to just continue it. And make sure to keep it relatively tight. You don't want a bunch of big pockets. So we have our greased baking dish here. So now we're just gonna cut this up into about 10 to 12 pieces and arrange it in our pan. Okay, so now we are going to let these rise for about 60 to 90 minutes or until they're doubled in size. So just cover them with a clean cloth or some aluminum foil and you're good to go. Our cinnamon buns have risen and they're about doubled in size. So we're gonna stick them in the oven at 375 for about 25 minutes. Now, everyone's ovens are different, so make sure to keep an eye on them starting at about the 20-minute mark. Okay guys, so while the cinnamon buns are in the oven deliciously baking, you can already smell them, we're gonna start in on the icing. So to start with, we're gonna do 4 ounces of cream cheese. So your normal block of cream cheese, you're just gonna do half of that. Okay, so we are gonna beat this. All right, while we beat this, we're also gonna add a little bit of butter. So now now we're gonna add about 2/3 cup of icing sugar. Again, it doesn't need to be super exact. Into there. And then about a teaspoon of vanilla. These cinnamon buns are smelling amazing and they are certainly done. So let's pull them out of the oven. Wow, look at that. Wow. Okay, I'm pretty excited to try these. Now that we have our beautiful cream cheese icing done, and these, while they're still hot, we want to put this all over the cinnamon buns so that it really gets in there and will melt onto them. This will also keep them nice and ooey and gooey. Okay, thank you. I'd like to get a full visual on it.
Smells good.
Looks very good, yep. It smells like cinnamon. These are gingerbread cinnamon buns, FYI.
Beautiful.
Not regular.
And
Nice.
what kind of an icing is on it?
A cream cheese.
Cream cheese icing.
Okay,
Nice. I'll let Hannah
hard
go
to snap.
first. Okay,
The first bites are a good taste of cinnamon. I got a little bit of a crispy edge of the bun, which was a nice kind of texture balance. The dough is soft. It's well cooked. The amount of filling is good. Potentially could have done with slightly more, but I would need to go maybe a little bit deeper. May I have a knife, please?
I think it's very good. It's very on point, not too extremely sweet. It's like very nice and soft, and obviously it's just right out of the oven, so.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this YouTube video. It was so much fun to make these amazing cinnamon buns, and I hope you guys try this recipe.
Thank you, amiga. This was riquísimo.
Make sure you check out our YouTube channel and our Instagram for more great content. And
Feliz Navidad!